The courtroom smelled of polished wood and quiet judgment the morning Daniel Harper was laughed at. His worn shoes echoed against the marble floor as he stepped forward, clutching a thin folder of papers that held everything he had left: custody documents, unpaid bills, and a handwritten character reference from his daughter's schoolteacher. When the judge glanced at him over gold-rimmed glasses and let out a short, dismissive chuckle at his frayed jacket and trembling hands, the entire room felt colder. No one noticed the way Daniel's eyes hardened for a fraction of a second. No one imagined that the man they saw as a poor, desperate single father carried a truth that would shake that courtroom to its foundation. If you believe in kindness, in second chances, and in the idea that you should never judge a person by their appearance, take a moment right now to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel, Kindness Stories. Your support spreads these messages further than you know. Daniel had once been the kind of man who wore tailored suits and spoke in quiet, measured tones that commanded respect. Years ago, before tragedy hollowed out his world, he had stood in courtrooms not as a defendant but as a respected legal mind. But life had unraveled in ways no one could predict. After his wife, Elena, passed away from a sudden illness, Daniel stepped away from everything. He vanished from headlines, from conferences, from the marble halls of justice. He chose instead a small rental apartment on the edge of the city, where the paint peeled from the walls and the elevator groaned like it was tired of rising. His daughter, Lily, was only 6 when her mother died. Daniel learned to braid hair by watching late-night tutorials, to cook pancakes that didn't burn, to show up at school recitals even when grief pressed on his chest like a weight. He traded prestige for presence. He traded power for parenthood. And when financial mistakes from an old investment surfaced, Kumpo. But protection became complicated when Elena's wealthy parents filed for custody. They believed Daniel's financial downfall proved instability. They saw the tiny apartment, the overdue notices, the second-hand clothes, and decided Lily deserved better. In their eyes, better meant private tutors, a gated estate, and distance from a father who no longer fit their image of success. That was how Daniel found himself standing in family court, being assessed not by his love but by his bank account. The presiding judge that morning, Harold Whitmore, was known for his sharp tongue and impatience. He prided himself on efficiency, on cutting through emotional pleas with cold practicality. When Daniel tried to explain that stability wasn't measured in square footage but in bedtime stories and packed lunches, the judge smirked. The sound rippled through the room. Even Elena's parents exchanged a satisfied glance. Daniel's hands trembled, but not from fear. From restraint. The lawyer representing the grandparents painted a bleak portrait of Daniel's life. A man drowning in debt. A man who once held prominence but now stocked shelves at a grocery store to make rent. A man who could not provide the proper environment for a growing child. Each word was polished, rehearsed, and devastatingly effective. Daniel listened. He let them speak. He thought of the nights Lily had crawled into his lap, whispering that she didn't want a big house if it meant losing him. He remembered the way she clung to his hand outside the courtroom that morning, her small fingers squeezing with silent trust. She was waiting now with a court-appointed counselor in a separate room, unaware that adults were debating her future like she was a file number. When it was Daniel's turn, he spoke simply. He did not dramatize his sacrifices. He did not reveal the sleepless nights spent calculating bills. He spoke about Lily's favorite book, about how she struggled with math but loved art, about how she still left.